We are fast approaching the summer, but we've still got some games before summer officially begins. Summer is also a great time to take a vacation, and you can bring your Steam Deck with you. And it's time to talk about games that we think will run on Steam Deck, and games that may not necessarily run well on Steam Deck, all in May. So it's time to tune into this month's episode of Monthly Steam Deck Games, featuring games releasing next month. But if you like this video or any other video I've made, please like, subscribe, and share with all of your friends. And in the meantime, why don't you check out Off the Console? It's a brand new podcast created by me, Gardner Bryant, and Games Revealed, with guest stars occasionally. And while yes, it's on YouTube, it's also available wherever podcasts can be found, like Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Check it out. Among Us 3D is exactly what it sounds like. It's Among Us, but in 3D. You know, this used to be the VR version of Among Us, but has since been retooled to be a fully functional game without VR. You can still play with VR though if you'd like. The entire game is now in first person, so it changes dynamics substantially. As for Steam Deck compatibility, I see no reason why this wouldn't run well on Steam Deck. I mean, it's Among Us. It doesn't look graphically demanding, and I would be surprised if it didn't run well on Steam Deck, to be honest. Among Us VR releases on May the 6th. Captain Blood is a game with an interesting history, see. It was designed to be an Xbox 360 game. Due to a bunch of legal shenanigans and all that stuff though, this game was never fully released. But now it's getting its limelight, getting a full release available on all modern platforms. I've actually tried the demo on the Steam Deck and it's very much authentically 360-like. But it runs quite well, and I think it plays pretty well too. You can currently play the demo for Captain Blood right now if you're interested, and I think it runs well on the Steam Deck. But if you want to wait for the game to come out, it'll also come out on May the 6th. Sonic Rumble is a 32-player party game. What kind of party game though? It kind of looks like Fall Guys, but with Sonic instead. It is a mobile game, and as such, I think it'll run pretty well on Steam Deck. The question is, how much does this cost? If I had to guess, it's probably free with microtransactions. Sonic Rumble releases on May the 8th. The Precinct is a cop simulator, best way I can put it. While there are guns and gunfights, there's a bigger emphasis on doing police work, menial police tasks like desk work, as well as doing things like giving people tickets. Expired meter parking? Give them a ticket. Yes, you can even arrest people too, and honestly it looks like a lot of fun. I actually haven't tried the demo out for myself, but Noah from Steam Deck HQ certainly has. And the game supposedly features a Steam Deck specific setting, so they're certainly trying to optimize for the Steam Deck. So with that, I would say, hey, I think this will run pretty well on Steam Deck. I would imagine so anyways. The Precinct releases on May the 13th. I've actually covered Yasha Legends of the Demon Blade on the Steam Deck, and let me tell you, it's a fairly similar game to Hades. Similar structure, top-down roguelike action. The demo ran quite well on the Steam Deck, so yeah, I'm inclined to believe this will run well on the Steam Deck. So if you're in the mood for another roguelike, then this might be the one. And it's even got 3 separate characters to play as. Yasha Legends of the Demon Blade releases on May the 14th. Capcom Fighting Collection 2 features more of Capcom's fighting games. And let me tell you a little secret, these are all games that released on the Sega Naomi arcade platform. Yes, there are 8 fighting games, many of which are cult classics like Power Stone 1 and 2. But let's be honest, you're probably buying this for Capcom vs SNK 2. And let me tell you, that's what I'm going to do too. This is a collection of older Dreamcast era titles, so I firmly believe all of these will run on the Steam Deck really well. I'm honestly looking forward to Project Justice, because that's like the only game on this list that I actually haven't played. This entire collection releases on May the 15th. Nitro Express is a game I covered during the Steam Next Fest. It's a throwback to the old 2D running guns, though in this case you can freely aim 360 degrees. There was a demo when I made the Steam Next Fest video, but the demo's not up anymore. But what I will say is that the game does run, but my biggest issue was that the game runs at a capped 30 FPS. And it's not a performance thing, the game is just capping itself at 30 FPS, and I'm sure the Steam Deck can handle this at a much higher frame rate. And a lower frame rate also affects how the game actually handles itself too. It's not like it looks like it's 30 FPS, it actually runs at 30 FPS and it kind of feels like that too. So I do hope the full release does fix this issue. Nitro Express releases on May the 19th. I don't really like Gundam Seed or Seed Destiny. I'm not sure why, I don't know what it is, to be honest. But even as someone that doesn't like Gundam Seed, what I do like are Gundam video games. This was actually a Japanese exclusive Vita game, but now it's coming to the West and on PC as well. As a remaster of an old Vita game, I have no reason to believe this wouldn't run well on Steam Deck. Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Battle Destiny Remastered? releases on May the 21st. Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. It certainly gives off a survival crafting experience much like a lot of the games on PC do. A sort of RPG mixed with life sim elements such as, farming and crafting and also farming as well. There are a bunch of different jobs, and it would be fun to play with a bunch of different friends and then have them specialize in a different job, making it so that you guys can specialize in specific jobs, this game is coming to the original Switch, so I do believe this game will probably run well on Steam Deck, barring some weird optimization issues. Fantasy Life I releases on May the 21st. Deliver at all costs is exactly what it says on the tin. You must deliver your goods no matter the cost, no matter the consequences. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many people you run over or how many buildings or cars you destroy or how many lives you ruin. What matters is you deliver, and you deliver on time. The game looks insane and absolutely hilarious, especially with all of the physics interactions. I mean, look, when you destroy things, run people over, they ragdoll, and it's amazing. I do hope the physics doesn't impact the performance on the Steam Deck too badly, because this seems like the perfect little Steam Deck game. Deliver at all costs releases on May the 22nd. Necopara is short for Neco Paradise, which means cat paradise. As for performance, performance really doesn't matter with a visual novel. You could run this at 15 FPS and you'll be perfectly fine. Now, as for why anyone would buy this one, if you've been playing the Necopara games, I think you know why you're gonna buy this one. But for anyone that doesn't know, well, if you know, you know, and if you don't know, then maybe don't Google it. I don't know. Necopara After releases on May the 22nd. Onimusha 2 is a remaster of the second game from the PS2 era. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never played the Onimusha games. I really do want to play them, but I just haven't. I know they sport tank controls much like the old Resident Evil games, but I also know these remasters have changed that, and they're no longer tank controls. I'm a sucker for games set in feudal Japan, and I do think this game will run quite well on Steam Deck. It's an old PS2 title, but remastered. Onimusha 2 Remastered releases on May the 22nd. Garden of Witches is another top-down roguelike. It kind of gives off Cult of the Lamb vibes in terms of the art style, which is really nice because I really did like Cult of the Lamb's art style. The art's pretty cute too. I don't have a whole lot of info to go off of, but I think this will run well on Steam Deck, and this game releases on May the 23rd. Fuga Melodies of Steel 3. The entire Fuga Melodies of Steel series reminds me of Advance Wars, and that's probably intentional. That said, it's more of a superficial resemblance, given that the game looks different in terms of how it actually plays and, damage calculations, all that stuff. If you haven't played the other two, I probably wouldn't jump into the third one immediately. I certainly haven't played the other two. But from what I understand, the other two run quite well on Steam Deck, and I have no reason to believe that this one wouldn't either. Fuga Melodies of Steel releases on May the 28th. Elden Ring Night Rain. This right here is the big kahuna. One of the big releases this month. Night Rain's a weird one. It's a battle royale roguelike hybrid, with an emphasis on different set characters and a much faster style of gameplay. Honestly, it's very different from the actual Elden Ring itself. I don't really think the game looks that different from Elden Ring, so I would imagine the game runs about as well as Elden Ring. It is worth mentioning that this is going to have a kernel level anti-cheat. But From Software has been pretty good about letting Steam Deck gamers play. They let Elden Ring run on Steam Deck, and they let Armored Core 6 run on Steam Deck as well. So I think this is just more Elden Ring goodness injected directly into your Steam Deck. Elden Ring Night Rain releases on May the 29th. Nice Day for Fishing is an RPG where the combat is entirely based around fishing mechanics. My biggest issue with fishing minigames is that it's a matter of just sitting there and waiting for a prompt to press a button and, well, you kind of just catch the fish. But here, catching fish is an ordeal. Fishing here is represented as a sort of real-time battle. You quote-unquote attack and you quote-unquote parry. And you can get fishing rods with special abilities as well, and you can equip different items. It truly is an RPG, but fishing is the main combat mechanic. It is a 2D game, so I am inclined to believe that this game will run quite well on Steam Deck. And this game releases on May the 29th. Now let's talk about games I'm not sure will run well on Steam Deck, but would be pleasantly surprised if they did run well actually. Doom: The Dark Ages is a difficult game to evaluate because I'm not entirely sure if this game will run well on Steam Deck. Yes, the Doom games are well known for being very optimized for whatever they're on. But the big problem now is that, well, this is a more intense game. graphically demanding, more enemies. It's even got forced ray tracing. Yes, that's right. You need ray tracing capable hardware, and while the Steam Deck is very much ray tracing capable, but 9 times out of 10, ray tracing will destroy your performance on the Steam Deck, and since this game requires ray tracing, I think I can safely say this game will not run well on Steam Deck. And judging by the minimum specs and the recommended specs, my desktop doesn't even meet the recommended spec, which is kind of crazy to me. So yeah, I'm less inclined to believe this will run well on Steam Deck at all. They say all content creators are supposed to have a RTX 5090. So like, where's my RTX 5090, huh? I'm still on a 3070. If there was ever a game that truly demanded a Steam Deck 2, I would say this is it. But of course, if you still want to buy this game and play it on your gaming rig, you have to wait till May the 14th to play. So overall, it's a good month. We've got an interesting variety and a good selection of games and a bunch of high-profile releases as well. Albeit one of the most highly anticipated releases may not necessarily run well on Steam Deck. Of course, I'd love to be proven wrong though, but in case it doesn't, you can always stream it to your Steam Deck from your gaming PC. If you like this video, please press the like button and check out our other videos, and if you like those other videos as well, be sure to press the subscribe button and share the good gospel of high-tech lowlife with your friends. Furthermore, we have a community Discord for enlightened individuals such as you. And if you wish to further support high-tech lowlife, be sure to check out our Patreon page. Links in the description.